In the night of the year of 2003, a catastrophe happened here in this very village, in this very house. A flood. It has destroyed everything I had. About $250,000, 98% of my retro gaming collection in that very basement. Today, I'm 28 years old and I have 2 kids. I'm happily married. But I decided one thing. Since in those kids flows the retro gaming blood, as I saw it in front of my eyes, I decided to restart my collection. And with that, I had to throw away something. My name. And from there on, I shall be called the Recollector.
It begins. And here it is, the first piece of my recollection. Mother 2 for the Super Famicom.
Mother 2 was released on August 27, 1994 for the Super Famicom and was published by Ape and Hall Laboratory, back then known as Alkin. Yes, same Hall that brought us Kirby, Adventures of Lolo, and Super Smash Bros. Mother 1 on the NES was a hit in Japan as they are heavy RPG players. Later on, Mother 2 was ported to the North American continent as Earthbound, an underrated RPG back then, but today is a predilection for the RPG fans. We never had Mother 1 here. Instead, a group of fan translators translated the games to Earthbound 0, which you can find a reproduction card online or buy illegal ROMs, but I'll talk about this later on.
I won't start talking about the story and history of Earthbound because this has been covered by so many online reviewers. One in particular, Derek Alexander, the Happy Video Game Nerd. You can watch this video on RetrowareTV.com. He covered Earthbound with so much detail, the story and history, and with so much passion you'll want to play the game. I'm not here to review games, I'm just here to talk about collecting video games, or retro video games if you prefer. The only thing I'll just say about Earthbound is that it sold here about only 100,000 copies, and that makes it a rare game to get, and you'll pay about $200 to $300 for it. If you find it under $100, believe me, either you tell me or I'll kill ya. Not literally, because I don't kill humans, but I kill demons.
Why collect imports? Well, the advantages of collecting imports, if you can read Japanese that is, or if you know the game by heart, is to get the uncut and uncensored version of the game. Like in Mother 2, a lot have been removed or changed from the American version of the game to protect the copyrights, such as reference to the Beatles or a scene in particular where Pokey and Peaky are getting beaten up by their father for leaving this late at the beginning of the game, or again, the opening reference to Gygus, in this case Gigi, or whatever it's called, striking back again. Gigi. Talk about a name. Since we never had Mother 1, they had to rework the story to remove any references to the previous game in the series. But sweat not. It didn't really affect any of the story of Earthbound in any way. We didn't even notice that there was a prequel until the internet was online.
Playing imports on North American Super Nintendo is totally possible. Of course, there's always the way to just buy a Super Famicom. The thing is, we have this. This is a North American cartridge. And we have this. That's it. That is a Super Famicom cartridge. What is the difference? Very simple. First of all, if you look at the size of both, side by side, just like that, you'll see that the North American cartridge is slightly bigger than the Super Famicom one. Also, there is something else to notice, and that's behind the cartridge. If you look closely, just like that, you'll notice those little holes, pinholes, on each side of the cartridge. See, Japanese didn't like for us to play their games on our consoles, so they came with the ingenious plan of putting those little things over here, the pinholes, which, in comparison here, the Super Famicom cartridge doesn't have. Another difference is the cart itself. If you look, we Americans have this square rectangle-ish cartridge, while the Japanese one is more rounded. But that doesn't really matter because the slot of this Super Nintendo, the SNES, the North American one, is bigger, so it can easily take those cartridge. There's two there. Beside buying yourself a Super Famicom to play Super Famicom games, there's another trick, but it requires a little sacrifice, and that it is with the Super Nintendo itself. If you've seen the pinholes actually are inside, just here. I don't know if you can see with the angle. There you go. You see, I removed them. But if you have an original Super Nintendo ones, there's gonna be two of them, one on each side. What you can do, and what I did, is use a long nose to just break them off. You have to be very gentle though. You still have to use a little force, but I wouldn't use brute force because you don't want to break the plastic over here or risk damaging the pins here. It's a cartridge reader, and you don't want to break that. So once you got those off and that they're pretty clean, just like mine, I'm trying to put it in an angle so you can see. There you go. those will now fit. As you can see, I'll have spaces on each side, but that doesn't matter. As long as the cartridge here go in and you push it, that's it. Everything's gonna work. The inside of the Super Nintendo is the same as a Super Famicom. There's another trick, which I can't show you because I don't have a Super NES Game Genie. But you can use the Game Genie and do the exact same thing, so you don't damage your Super NES. But there's one problem, and the problem is this. No, not Kirby itself. Even though he's pink, fluffy, and probably made of marshmallow, he's not a problem. The problem resides here. Da-da! Do you notice the difference? If I put it side by side with Super Metroid, you'll notice that here, the PCB boards are much different. You'll see those boards here more with the Super FX games. There was Ton FX or Star Fox that will use those for graphical effects. I heard those also add some memory to the game, or some special effects or whatnot, but that's in the programming of the PCB. I don't want to get technical on this, but if you use the Game Genie trick, those cartridges won't work. Now, I don't know if the Super Famicom has those, because I don't have any Super Famicom cartridge yet that have those kind of PCBs, but I'm pretty sure there is. So you don't want to take a chance, and you just want to go with either this trick, just here, or buying yourself a Super Famicom. I heard there is a SNES converter which converts Super Famicom to the North American Super Nintendo format, but I haven't seen one around. I tried to find one before breaking those, but to no avail. And you'll notice another thing, those nice cartridges are exactly the same format and everything as the PAL one, the European versions. So you might find yourself a Earthbound for pretty cheap. Earthbound on the Mother 2, but it looks, the cartridge kind of looks like this one. That's a PAL version. Technically, it'll fit just like this into your SNES, but it doesn't use the same graphic decoding format. We use NTSC, they use PAL, mainly because of the power thing and stuff. So even if you buy European cartridges, there are no ways to play them on a North American Super NES. So this is a little trick. So if you want to start collecting imports, just like Mother 2 or my Chrono Trigger or Train to Order more, and if you still want to play your Super NES games, because those will still fit and will still work with the eject button, that's a little trick. It's cheap. It's just sacrificing the value of your Super NES, but if you don't mind breaking those little pins, then you'll just be fine.
So this is the first piece of my collection, Mother 2. I'll keep going and I'll keep building my game room. Sometimes I'll present you one game, sometimes more than one game, but overall, we all have to start somewhere. So to you, who might want to start collecting, I bid you good hunting.
I won't stop talking about the history of video games because, that's just not me. I'm here to collect. I'm not here to talk about anything about games. What games? What games? Tell me what games. So you want to start dating? I was going to say dating, actually. You want to start dating? Stop being a collector, get a life. Ooh, that segment will kill me. Oh my god, I'm laughing by myself now.